Hello everyone, and welcome to the third week of November. This month is flying by and it has been rocking. And I want to know what you guys think of the additional videos that I've been putting out there. I really like to have more of the interaction instead of me just speaking technically about charts and just the weekly watch list. I really feel like I help to give back to the community more that way, and I want to get your feedback as well. And speaking about community, let me go ahead and shrink this really quickly. I was nominated for an award locally, and if you guys could please vote for me, that would be awesome. I would love the support. So you just go to the page, I will put it down below too, but it's businesscommunity360.ca, and you are just going to scroll down and go to the nominees. If you're on a phone, just keep scrolling down and you're going to see this come up, and you want to click on financial services and then vote for me right there, please, just like that. Super easy. Part of the criteria in winning is going to be engagement with society and giving back to your followers. So, you know, everything I do is to really help you guys. So I'd love it if you could give me that back, just a little vote, 2 seconds of your time. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe and turn on the notifications, right? Because that's going to be when you get the new videos. So let's go ahead and get into it, right? As always, you guys know I did have my Series 7 back in 2000. I was working with Smith Barney. However, I am no longer current as a broker, but I did go through all the studies. So please remember, number one, trading involves all sorts of varying degrees of risk, no matter what securities instrument you are trading. And know that no returns are guaranteed, that if you do try a new strategy, it is best to paper trade that strategy until you get that winning strategy down. And also know that any past performance is not indicative of future performance. All right, so a little disclaimer out of the way. Let's go ahead and look at the indexes, right? We always start off with a SPY. So we are just rocking up, following the averages right on up the hill. If we look at it, it looks like we might hit this resistance line 318. That's a pretty big move coming up, right? We're back here at 303, and now we're all the way up at 311. We had this consolidation over the week. Actually, you can even extend it out to here. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of consolidation, this little box, and now we are up above it. So that's pretty telling, right? If there was, the volume was not really higher or lower, but we did have higher volume with a breakout there. So looking for this to potentially move on up to 318, 319 before we start to see that pullback. Let's go look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, we are butting up against this trend line that we have hit before. This is now the 4th time. We had a little bit higher than normal volume. We closed up at the top. So I'm curious to see if we are going to continue on up, or is this going to be higher volume with a potential sell-off here? We'll see what the market has for us, but we are on that bigger picture on a trend line. Let's look at the weekly and see as well. So on the weekly, we are above this trend line, but I drew it, you can see I drew it, I think, on the daily. Let's go back to the daily. I think I drew it on the daily. I should put notes on the trend lines as to what I'm drawing it on. So I drew it on the daily, I believe. Yeah, right there. The high of this candle and to the low of that candle. It actually should be down here and down here. So disregard that one because it looks like that one is not even going to. It's interesting though, the way that it was. Oh, look at this. It keeps changing. Interesting. Okay, so right now, NASDAQ, we are breaking out. Let's do this one too. Right here to right here. And we can see we're tested it, and consolidated right here again this past week. The volume is increasing and price is increasing. That's what you want to see when a stock is going up, because you want to see that demand is increasing as well as the price to justify the move. When you're going to have an increase in price like this and a decrease in volume, that's going against supply and demand. There's some reason, some manipulation that is driving that price up. So let's look at the Russell, right? Okay, so the Russell, we are come to an area that we've tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times now, and we haven't broken above the high back here on May 19th. So we shall see if we're going to have, we had this downward trend, a bit of a descending triangle here with breakout, but it was not really higher than normal volume. We are not in the overbought area for RSI. I don't really use that as an indication to get in or out, just looking for reasons not to get into a trade for the indicators. So this one, we still have all this selling volume every time that it's come up and hit these highs, selling wicks. So looking to see if we're able to have a nice strong buy wick, right? Right here we had buying power that drove it up, but really would think breakout above this wick here, 160.50, because if we can break up above that, yes, we've got potential move to the upside. First on my potential long list, I always say potential longs or potential shorts because the market can really take it either way, but I will give you the levels to look at. So looking at the end of the day, I would look at 162.72, and you can see there was this big gap on earnings. So we could have that potential gap fill up to 166.75 area, or breakdown of 161.16. Now AAP does have 71 million in the float and 55% short volume from Friday. And looking back at it on the year, you can see we are hitting this 21 EMA. The 4 has not crossed over the 8 yet. However, we did bounce off these moving averages. So just keep that one on watch. Next potential long is AMAT. AMAT did have earnings as well. You can see here a nice gap up. Let's look at on the 15-minute chart. So on Friday, end of the day, then we had a massive run up, right? And it closed up, or sorry, it had a nice spike at 10:45, pulled back a bit, found support right here around 61.80, and I would look for 62.50 area to be broken to the upside. And AMAT does have 920 million in the float, so you got to think of that long freight train. If you have that, all of that volume behind it moving pretty quickly, it's going to take a longer time and be harder to stop that momentum. 33% short volume on Friday. Next potential long, Luckin Coffee. So Luckin has been assimilated to Starbucks, but in China. So had earnings on the 13th, and then boom, ran up on the 15th, right? Ran up from 22 to 27. Nice $5 move, or about 20% of the stock. So let's see, 26.13 for the support and 27.15, 27.20 area for resistance to the upside. And Luckin is lower float, not real low float, but it has 36.8 million in the float and 43% short volume on Friday. Next two potential longs are in the entertainment area, broadcasting, CBS Corporation. CBS, this is on the 15-minute chart. I forgot to show you where we are on Luckin on the year. So here's our yearly chart. We are testing the 52-week highs, so that's very important. This could be a big breakout here, and we had massive volume as well on Friday. So let's go to CBS. So CBS has had this downward trend, right? And we're butting up against this 50 simple moving average. We've had increasing volume after earnings, and I would look, you know, for a longer term swing, a breakout above 39.10 or above 39.07, the 50 simple moving average. On a daily sort of an intraday trade, I would look for resistance of 38.80 to be broken and support of 38.50 right here. And CBS did have 60% short volume on Friday, which is pretty interesting. So if we start to see that gets a squeeze to it going on early, pre-market, before we open, we might have more of a run up right at open. It does have 327 million in the float. And the next potential long as well is VIAB, Viacom. Now, if you look at the chart for Viacom as well, very similar to CBS, right? Came up, almost hit the 50 here, and almost hitting the 50 again on Friday, and it just had earnings. So looking at these two charts, I feel like they're trading symbiotically. So if one of them is going to move, potentially the other one will move as well, sort of in that same entertainment broadcasting sector. So 352 million for Viacom, and it was 72% short volume on Friday. So I think these people are trying, I always try to put myself in the head of other traders, right? So those two had higher than normal short volume. So I'm thinking they are thinking that 50 simple moving average is that resistance. They're going to give that their stop. So if it breaks above that, that could be a big rip for the two stocks. So 23 for support for Viacom and 23.22 for resistance. Now getting into our shorts, potential shorts for the week. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA had earnings and then it broke down. I would look for support of 202.38 to be broken, 202.40, and resistance of 204.46. When we look back on the yearly chart here, let's go back and get automated. These are old right here, so let's remove that. And let's remove that. Uh-oh, I took away one of the wrong ones. The cool thing about TradingView, you can just click this and put back whatever you did by mistake. It's very easy to replace what you did by okay. So you can see NVIDIA right here. I touched on this on Thursday as well. Someone asked me a question live, which I'm going to be doing again this Wednesday. So check it out at 1:30 on Wednesday. I'll be live on YouTube answering other traders' questions as well. So here we've got this consolidation box, right? So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days of consolidation within this box. And the volume was neither really large or really small except for right before earnings. And then now we've got the 4 crossing over the 8, and we have broken below this support level of 206.43. As I was saying, I said if we break below 206.43, it's going to be a pretty good short. Well, look at what happened. We broke below 206.43 in the first half an hour of the day, and what happened? Came down and then tested that as a resistance level and sold off again. So if potentially you were thinking about going short, in my opinion, I would say use that 26.50 area as a resistance, because that has acted as a fairly strong support in the past, and so it will probably flip to be resistance and if it goes up higher. So that's it for NVIDIA for me. CAE, this one is a local one here in Canada. They do simulator training for pilots, and it's interesting. They had a massive run up. However, it's coming and it's potentially testing this gap fill back down. So 27.45 to the upside and 26.84 as support. It does have 265 million. You can see we've tested this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, but it hasn't broken up above. So that's why I do have an area. Look for this potential move down, you know, maybe back down to 25.93 before a bigger run up. It would probably be more of a move down to the averages and then potentially back up. But it looks like it can't break this resistance of 27.50. Next potential short is CNP, Centerpoint Energy. Had earnings, a massive sell-off, came down, and it might have a potential move up, but I would look for support of 25.20 to be broken or resistance of 25.53 to the upside. But it did have a consolidation day right here, so this could have a bigger move coming because it was fairly consolidated throughout the day on Friday. It didn't have a big range. So anytime I see a consolidation day like this, I think there's going to be a move coming, one direction or the other. They're holding it there to make a position. And when I say they, I'm talking about the larger traders, the institutional traders or hedge funds that are saying, hold on, hold it in this range because I want to get my position set up before we take it into a major move. All right, next potential short, ARVN, and CNP has 300 million in the float. ARVN is a pharmaceutical, and this has the potential, to me, of being overextended and having a bit of a sell-off, like CAE as well. So 30.66 resistance to the upside and 30.03 for support, or the 30 range. If you look at it, it did break out and we had higher than normal volume here, a bit of a sell-off, a bit more volume, but not as much. It's looking like it's overbought to me, and the momentum is somewhat coming back down. So It might have a bit of a pullback down to the 29 area before it rips up again, because stocks don't always go straight up, right? They come down, they go up, they come down, they go up. Just like this one went down and it came up and then down and then it came up and then down. You see that same thing going up and then back and then up and then back. So this might have a bit of a pullback coming for it. QGen. QGen is the final one. ARVN, be cautious, that is a lower float with 16.2 million. QGen is 215 million in the float, and look at this. This has had a massive run up in 3 days. So it went from 32.20 to 41, a $9 move. Massive volume, starting to show overbought, and momentum is decreasing just a little bit. So potential, it's also testing a resistance area for the third time. So potential move back down here to the 36, 37 area as well. Looks a little bit overbought to me. So watching for potential pullback on this one in the week for potential short, but not a longer term swing in my opinion. Then I have one longer term potential swing, and that's EBIX this week, right? So let's remove all these other drawings. So EBIX has come down, and it seems like we've got higher than normal volume after earnings, right? It came down to this area 32 area, 32.25, and we had higher than normal volume. So looking for this to break up above 36.78. That would be a nice $2.25 move from where it closed on Friday. If it can break up above there, then it's got that nice gap fill up to 38.40 and then potentially up to 41, and then it's going to have the averages along the way as roadblocks, but this might have a potential move to it. You can see it came down and it's tested that low, broke below it. However, they did take it right back up. So we shall see. The higher than normal volume caught my eye, and it's looking a bit oversold as well. No, but I'm not going to use that as the only indicator to get in. I would watch the price action as well. All right, guys, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. If you have any ideas for any other videos that you'd like to see about trading, please shoot them on over. And if you have any questions you'd like me to answer in my live question and answer on Wednesday at 1:30, put them in the comments below or shoot me an email at jane@cjanetrade.com. Thanks so much. Profit. Have a great week ahead.